John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's Smash Trivia John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, in love with Aslan, and also some arrow weaving. John's here saying, hello my gamma friends, welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
And Hulk. Smash.
Hello, my Gamma friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be one with the big old green hat in the profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis, basically going to review everything Hulk. Called movies, TV shows, and I also do randomly geeky films. And sometimes, like this episode, this special, 200th episode special, I'm not reviewing side at all. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening, please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now let's smash right into this episode. Today's episode is my 200th episode special, where we're going to discuss Hulk and She-Hulk movie pitches with my friend Brayden. How you doing, Brayden?
I'm doing okay. I'm very excited to talk about Hulk stuff.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to get into the user submitted stuff first, or do you want to just go into some of our pitches first?
I'm actually curious about the other person's pitch. So if you want, we can do that one first, and then
All right.
we can get into ours after. I am curious to hear about that a little bit.
All right. All right. So let me pull that up. All right. So this pitch says as, hey man, it's Justin, and I also do CSS, which is Cinema Society Saturday, a movie group that thing that I do on TikTok, where we review different horror films on Saturdays. He says, but I also love Marvel, and Hulk has been my favorite Marvel character since I was little. There was a TV show that I used to watch while I was in elementary called Hulk and Agents of Smash. Oh, it's it would be nice to see them and make a live action movie about this. Personally, I think they should bring everyone back: Hulk, She-Hulk, Red Hulk, Hulk, A-Bomb, and Scar, and have them go up against the leader. Give them a cool storyline, and I think it'd make a great movie. We have almost everyone from the show in the MCU except for A-Bomb. So maybe they could introduce him in Doomsday or Secret Wars. As a die-hard fan of that show when I was younger, I always thought it would be neat to see this happen. But I just thought I'd do an email about this. I thought your idea was neat. Hope you have a good one. Justin from Just Tanto's Reviews. Thank you, Justin. And everyone, please check out Just Tanto's Reviews on TikTok. I really like this idea. Yeah, I would definitely be down for a Hulk and the Agents of Smash live action thing. How do you feel about that, Brayden?
So this pitch from Justin, your friend, I think is a very cool pitch, and I get what he's saying, especially like, well, we haven't had A-Bomb yet, so if you brought him in and then you put it together, like in theory, the Agents of Smash idea can definitely be done. It would be kind of cool for Scar, I think. You can actually have Scar like leading that team whenever Bruce or Jen is busy, but the idea of having them all together versus like the leader or something else, I think that'd be like a lot of fun. I could see that actually being a thing one day. Because for Agents of Smash, I remember that did kind of gain a bit of not just co-following, but that did kind of carry on for a bit because of the idea of multiple Hulks together at the same time.
Yeah,
I do believe the MCU is building up to that because, like with Secret Wars, I think a fight they're going to do just for the cool visual of it is probably going to have Hulk and Red Hulk together side by side in battle because it's just CGI. You don't have to pay Harrison for it, but so I could definitely see them leading to a Hulk like team of some
Mhm.
kind.
Oh yeah.
I remember with the leaked concept art for Secret Wars that's been kind of proven to be real of the Hulk Village. So maybe a bomb could appear in Secret Wars
That
for
could
all
be
I know.
fun.
You know,
Yeah. That could definitely be really fun. I think I would love this. It's Hawk and Agent Smash is my Hawk show that growing up. I loved that show. I would love to see a live action version of it. And like if we were to do that, that I want them to like fully go out there with the idea by just like the cartoon was, make this a mockumentary because they had that had in the cartoon, A Bomb is making a Hulk family interview show as the things goes on. So there's these interview scenes with the different characters that I always found really funny and very unique, that idea.
that would be cool. That would be really. I do love mockumentaries and even like found footage like films. So
Mm,
that would be different from the MCU. They haven't really done
yeah,
that. The idea of like you just have an MCU film or show where it's from the perspective of the camera or something like
yeah.
capturing different things. That'd be kind of cool, and it'd be a great way to stylize a lot of the action and
Hmm.
go from there.
Yeah. Right. I Yeah. Next, I'm going to do show your pitch that you recorded. So no. Let's go over here.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Let me know if you can hear this. This way it plays. Is because I'm not sure whether this will have issues or not. Sometimes Sim is a little bit finicky about the stuff like this, but we'll see.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And also, I think as I told you off recording, there's some stuff I forgot to put in the audio pitch, but I can explain upon it some more in a little bit. So,
all right,
you know,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. So I'm gonna click start.
Hi, I'm Brayden Silva, and I wanted to submit a little Hulk theme
Can you hear
pitch.
that?
I can hear
And
it.
I was thinking
Good.
about, when and if Marvel Studios get the full Hulk rights, what would be the first ever MCU Hulk film post Secret Wars, and what they could do to really show Bruce Banner and the Hulk family in a big way. And I was thinking about some stuff in the MCU about things that they've done and things they haven't done, and certain things they have to deal with. There's a lot of like fan perception of what a Hulk movie should be. Like, should it be just action based, character based, or just a typical superhero adventure? Now, in the MCU, we've seen Bruce fight Abomination. We've seen him fight, like Thanos and some other stuff. And of course, we're going to get into more action later on in Secret Wars, definitely. So I was thinking that for a MCU Hulk film after Secret Wars, with Secret Wars, it's going to reset a lot of the canon in the MCU. And I think that some villains who are dead or off to the side will come back. With Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think they did a great job with Absorbing Man, who is, like, to me, one of my favorite Hulk villains. He's very underrated.
Mm.
And spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he dies. He gets killed off in, like, the last season. Or somewhere, no, second to last season, actually. And he's still dead in that show. And while Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not really canon, I mean, as of now, I think after Secret Wars, after we see some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters show up in Secret Wars, probably, if and when Absorbing Man shows up again, Crusher Creel, they'll just have him be alive. They won't even address the fact that he was killed off in Agents of Shield, and I think that's easy to do with Secret Wars, because the entire multiverse is gonna get reset, so there's gonna be a different history. And I want Absorbing Man to be the main focus of a main threat of a Hulk film. And I think there's some great ideas where you can parallel and talk about Bruce's history through Absorbing Man. Now, with Hulk, with Bruce Banner, his trauma creates.
Real quick before we get into the rest of it, I want to say I definitely really agree with you that I really like the like what they did with the Absorbing Man
Oh
on
yeah,
Agents of Shield. Um, if we were to get this, would you want them to bring back the actor who played him
I
on Agents of Shield?
I think he did a really great job. He's a very underrated actor. I will a courtesy call. Like just reach out to him and be like, "Hey, do you want to be in an MCU movie as Absorbing Man?" If he says yes, awesome. If he says no, we recast. I just feel like you should, out of courtesy, get that guy because he was really great. He reminded me a lot of Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman, where I'm like, this guy is directly from the comics. He feels natural. He feels like a real guy, and he's just in a crazy world with his powers. And he's just with Absorbing Man, he's an average Joe of a guy. And I remember, I got really angry at some Daredevil fans when they were talking mad shit about She-Hulk, and they're like, "Why is he here?" And I'm like, "Don't you know your history?" I'm like, Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man, he was the guy who lost to Matt Murdock's dad in the ring. And that's what killed Jack Murdock. And though, I mean, obviously due to rights issues, we don't see that in the Daredevil show. They have Crusher Creel off screen. Wow. But I remember I really hoped, like, in any future Daredevil Hulk interaction, I would love to see Daredevil with She-Hulk and Bruce. They see Absorbing Man, and Matt could be like, "Holy shit, that's a man my father beat." And so, like, just for the, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, that's such a, like, Crusher Creel Absorbing Man, he's connected to so many different characters because he's kind of a community villain in a way.
Yeah.
But he has the best stories with the Hulk, in my opinion. That or Thor.
Oh yeah. Back when Agents of Shield and the original Daredevil show was airing, I always wanted them to have a crossover using Absorbing Man, and where or like either. I mean, you could actually even do both of these things by having part of it be flashbacks and part of it be present day, but like having him fighting, actually seeing him fighting Matt's dad with flashbacks, or seeing present day him fighting Daredevil.
Yeah. Either of those would be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah,
I mean, how?
I feel like you could do it where you actually do both of them in the same episode by having having flashbacks happen half the time.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. And you can even do like a kind of stylistic thing where you can kind of reference the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk film in a way. You know what I mean? Like the back and forth of some stuff, and like the comic book paneling style. That would be kind of cool, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
DID. And, his father was a terrible person and abused him and did all this terrible stuff. The MCU hasn't talked about that yet because the 2003 Ang Lee Hulk film kind of did most of the conversation, so to speak. It tackled a father-son story and did a lot of cool stuff here and there. So I was thinking about how we can actually have Bruce reflect on his history with his dad through Absorbing Man, where he doesn't think Crusher Creel could be a good father. And we find out that Crusher Creel, Absorbing Man, has a kid, and he's trying to be there for them. And we can kind of treat it similar to Sandman and Spider-Man 3, where Absorbing Man is committing a bunch of crimes, helping a bunch of major villains, and he's trying to get money to help his kid. And Bruce Banner is deeply worried that Absorbing Man is going to ruin this kid's life. And we can actually reflect upon the fact that Bruce Banner, Hulk, is currently a father to Scar, and he's struggling to do right by him, and he wants to do right by everyone. Now, with Absorbing Man, we need to focus on his powers, and we can actually make him into a major threat in the MCU by having Absorbing Man go after other Hulk villains, like Zazzix, or even going after other, like, elemental beings in the MCU. And Crusher Creel, Absorbing Man, is doing all these heists, attacking different companies in the MCU, like different, like he can even attack like the Fantastic Four building, all this other stuff. And Bruce Banner and his cousin She-Hulk and Scar are trying to stop him as best they can. And I want it to be like a fun, down to earth type of film. Obviously, there'll be a fuck ton of action. Obviously, it will reflect upon generational trauma, and also wanting to give second chances. Eventually, Bruce does realize that Absorbing Man loves his son, and that Crusher Creel wants to be a good person. and obviously they need to team up together against another villain in like in the third act. We need to see Hulk finally confront and meet the leader properly. You know, because the leader was actually one of the best parts in Captain America 4 Brave New World. And so far on screen, Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner hasn't been around the leader. So we can actually have the leader be the main villain, the main threat. And he's bribing Crusher Creel, rewarding him to do all these different heists in the MCU. And then eventually they realize the leader's going to go too far in terms of he wants to sell DNA from Absorbing Man to different villains in the MCU. And basically it's the equivalent of like giving yourself artificial powers for like 24 hours. Because Absorbing Man can absorb a lot of stuff, like different chemicals or different materials. So if Absorbing Man absorbs, say, like cosmic radiation or like elements of, say, the Fantastic Four, the leader wants to use his DNA to sell that to different bad guys in the MCU, the Ten Rings, you know, all this different stuff. And eventually Bruce and Crusher Creel, Absorbing Man, makes a deal. They team up. And you could actually have this frenemy relationship going forward in future films. That's one idea I would do to help, like, reset and relaunch Bruce and Crush and Absorbing Man at the same time. I think it could be cool. And also, there's a lot of like opportunities they can do with Crusher Creel's powers, especially visually in a proper new film. So yeah, that was one idea I have, and I hope you like it, John.
Yeah, I do. I really like that. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I really I do agree that I that we need to have something with like something with the whole cycle of abuse thing, and with how he's Bruce now a father, or I think it only makes sense to have such a thing in there. I thought and I like the idea of the leader being the main villain. Now with the leader, would you keep the design from Brave New World, or would you go for a more or comic booky design?
I think with the benefit of Secret Wars resetting stuff, you can absolutely just retcon him looking more comic book accurate. Look at Abomination.
Yeah.
I like his design in the 2008 film, but I love his design more in She-Hulk and Shang-Chi because he's green. He finally has the fins. He finally he looks like. And even when someone asked the producer on Shang-Chi, why did you guys change it? Is there an explanation for it? And he was kind of like, well, he's a Hulk shapeshifter. Things change. That's it. He's like, there's no need to explain why it changed.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, you talk about the Absorbing Man being on Agents of Shield. Another Hulk character who was on Agents of Shield who also ended up dying by the end of the show is Adrian Pastar as Talbot. Would you want to bring him back?
I that would be cool because especially because I really like Talbot. There's lots you could do with him in movies and shows. I even liked his version of Agents of Shield. He absolutely should be in the MCU just to be around Bruce. He doesn't have to be a proper villain or anything. He could just be like, if you want, you can actually make Talbot a little bit like a probation officer to Crusher Creel, and that's when he has the idea to reach out to Bruce and Jen of like, hey, can you keep your eye on this guy? And that's what sets up their Bruce looking in on Crusher Creel and all this other stuff. Because with Absorbing Man but also with like a lot of the Hulk villains, Talbot, Abomination, Ross, Bleeder, so many of them. I would love just to have a film or a show with them where they're just together. They don't even have to fight Hulk the whole time. I would just like to see their interactions together.
Talbot, that'd be fun.
Yeah, even the 2003 Hulk film. I love Talbot in that film. And I remember Ang Lee. Somebody asked him, in the 2003 Hulk film, he gets blown up, and Ang Lee was like, "Oh no, he's not dead." And it's like, what was your plan for him? And it's like he was going to be very injured, and I was going to turn Talbot into a version of Abomination under the leader, because Universal wasn't sure if Emil Blonsky would sell, because I think Emil was supposed to be Russian or something. And so they were kind of like, we should have someone that actually knows Bruce and have him become Abomination. So that was one idea they had for Talbot. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they made Talbot into Gravitron, which I thought was interesting because I'm like, because Gravitron's kind of an underrated villain in my opinion, and he's usually someone else. But when they made it Talbot, I'm like, no, this makes sense because Talbot, at his heart, even when he's an asshole, he wants to save people. So making Gravitron into a flawed superhero that is Talbot, I didn't mind. I thought it was a cool change for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was very surprised when it happened because, like, at that point, it had been like a couple seasons since the last time we saw Talbot.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was really fun on seeing him come back, and also like fans of Agents of Shield had wanted to see Graviton again ever
Oh yeah.
since the first season.
No, I remember back when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season one was airing back in like 2013, and of course season two leads into Age of Ultron. I remember there were some people, because Joss Whedon, he wanted Abomination to be in Age of Ultron working for Ultron and the twins. They break him out of a Hydra prison, which is going to be cool. But because due to effects issues and budget, he had to cut out Abomination. But there was a major fan theory. They were like, what if the villains of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Gravitron, Scorch, or whoever else, these people that appeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what if they're working for Hydra in Age of Ultron? That was a huge fan theory. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But there was a moment in the back of my head, I was like, God damn, it would actually be kind of cool if you had the leader and the Masters of Evil debut in Age of Ultron and save Ultron for later and call it something else.
To be fair,
Yeah.
villains up from Agents of Shield did end up being in Age of Ultron and as members of Hydra.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who don't realize this if they didn't watch Agents of Shield, but like
Yeah.
so like some of those characters, their first appearance was in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I like because with Agents of Shield, I like slash love some seasons more than others, but like there are many times where I'm like, no, man, they did weave in some cool connections. I mean, we did have Enchantress in that show. We had Sif in that show. We had Nick Fury in that show. Like there was a lot of cool stuff in it. It's a shame that I blame my promoter at Jeff Lowe. It's a shame that the rift between Marvel TV and Marvel film led to the Inhumans movie becoming a show by accident. Because Kevin Feige loved the Inhumans. He wanted that to be a big movie. But then during the civil war behind the scenes between Perlmutter and Feige, he snatched the Inhumans property and made a show that wasn't good. And Kevin Feige's, well, shit, I can't bring these Inhumans in, but he probably will bring them in Secret Wars. There's all these rumors about Black Bolt and the Inhumans will be in Secret Wars as a thing. And I'm like, yeah, because you have to. Yeah, with Secret Wars, people are gonna love it, people are gonna hate it, people are gonna be nervous. It might be two parts, whatever. I'm like, no, it's gonna be the grand opening. Like so many things are gonna be different. So many characters are gonna show up, and so many people will get a second chance. And when it comes to certain Hulk villains, for in Secret Wars or after, you show them now. Like you bring them in, you do something cool. Hell, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, with Deadpool Wolverine. I like that film a lot. And obviously in The Void, we see some variants of like Bullseye and Psylocke and some other stuff. There was a moment in my head I was kind of like, Ryan, if you really wanted to show how different things are, why you could have had some Hulk villains. You could have had Abomination or something in The Void to fight Gambit or something. I would have been fine with that.
Oh yeah, that would have been really cool. Or like you could have Abomination. You could have a version of Red Hulk.
Yeah.
You could have like you could have like it would be really funny a Sam Elliott version of Red Hulk.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Referencing him playing Ross in 2003 film. Which before I like actually get into like I like ones I've actually written down like some like things that I would love to see like just off the top of my head that of just like without like actually going into stories is like I would like film where Hulk and Spider-Man are co-leads, leads, and leads. I'd like a film where with Hulk and Deadpool, co-leads. I think that would be hilarious. Their dynamic,
Oh yeah,
and like a Hulk versus Wolverine film, too.
that's I think that's gonna happen. Like a lot. There's gonna be like a lot more Hulk crossovers, and they're gonna have more plans with the Hulk very soon. Because Kevin Feige loves Mark Ruffalo, and I'm pretty sure Mark will still be around post Secret Wars. If they were to recast it with a younger actor, I think Mark will understand. However, Kevin has a soft spot for him. Mark wants to do Wolverine versus Hulk, and Hugh Jackman wants to do Wolverine versus Hulk. I won't be shocked if the next Wolverine movie is Wolverine versus Hulk properly, and then have them become friends by the end, and then go from there. Because they want Hulk to do more stuff. I know, will they do World War Hulk? I'm like, they might reference it. They will have Hulk fight heroes, and like that's the thing about Hulk. He has to fight other heroes and to team up with them. That's kind of that's kind of a rule. You know, you have to show the power level.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely see Hulk and Deadpool or Hulk and Wolverine being a thing. Even if Hulk's not in the title due to issues with Universal, the idea of Hulk being in an R-rated Deadpool Wolverine film would be funny and cool.
Oh yeah,
Just because it's never been done before.
I feel like they would. I feel like there would have to be some kind of like we've already seen in Hulk's ass in the MCU with Thor Ragnarok. I feel like what like they did him in an R-rated film with Deadpool, they got to do something with the whole old joke that Mark Ruffalo's had of the man canceling suit and the and how Hulk designs have not had a dick. I feel like they would definitely want to have a scene where like Deadpool pantses him and is like and then looks and he's like, "You don't have a dick. Why does the Hulk have no dick?"
Yeah. Or the VFX always have to make one. We'll see. We'll see.
Like they could have like a sign where like mid scene, Deadpool be look at the camera and be like, "Visual effects artist, you know what you gotta do, and you better make it big."
Doing that, and also like, there's a lot of like, okay, so if Hulk's in a Deadpool film, you can reference the campy comics. If Hulk's in a Wolverine film, you can do the serious Hulk comics. But no matter what, there should be action and blood. But also, I think in both films, Hulk should talk just for the banter of Hulk responding to Deadpool Wolverine. I think if Deadpool, whenever Deadpool meets Hulk or is in like MCU Hulk or is in like a buddy film with him, I just know one joke they're gonna do. Like when Deadpool, Wade Wilson's like, it's funny, I'm Wade Wilson, you're Bruce Banner. It's like every Marvel character has to have fucking the same letters for both names. And then Bruce can correct him by saying it's Robert. It's like, what? It's Robert Bruce Banner. And Wade's like, you're shitty. You go fuck yourself. Your name's not Robert.
Robert, like that will be like could also make some reference to be like, if you're gonna have a third name, shouldn't it be David?
Yeah.
We talked about this last episode a bit, but like I'd also love to see a Hulk and Ghost Rider or film, like and like have them going into hell, because I think it would be such a fun visual to see Hulk in the fiery hellscapes of hell.
It's fine. One idea that I had that I almost submitted as a pitch, but I felt it should probably be saved for this conversation. Hulk's father, Brian Banner, who I felt is the most despicable Hulk villain for obvious reasons. He killed Bruce's mom, he's an abuser, and of course, in the comics, he's dead. And then whenever they bring Brian Banner back for Hulk stories, he's either a ghost or a demon from hell. So if you made Brian Banner the villain of a Ghost Rider Hulk film, I think that could work on different levels. Because like with Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, his father Barton Blaze was a good man who died. So if Ghost Rider confronted an evil fatherly demon of Brian Banner, that would be kind of an interesting flip the script moment for him. And because Brian Banner, he's such a comic book villain, and I because like with the comic book series Immortal Hulk, a horror themed Hulk book, the best part of that book for me is when Brian Banner through the green zone, which is like a little dimension for gamma radiated people. Brian is a ghost and he possesses other people like Sasquatch to fight the Hulk, and Hulk like sees him like in a mirror, and he's like, "Dad," and then that's when, and then he has to go confront him and do all the stuff. Legitimate, if they, whenever they do talk about Bruce's past, and I think they will one day, whenever they talk about Bruce's past and Brian Banner, if they want to pull like a CW Flash, what they did with John was the Ship, it would be kind of cool if you had Eric Banner play Brian Banner, but I still think Eric Banner's probably gonna be a Secret Wars as his Hulk. But whoever you get a great actor for Mark Ruffalo to act off of, and then have Brian Banner get defeated in a movie or show. I mean, hell, I remember even like if they were to make Brian Banner a villain like of a Halloween special with Bruce and Jan for Disney Plus, I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, another idea that I have is um and this is like a really ridiculous concept of the character that definitely works better with She-Hulk. But I think it would be hilarious to see Hulk and Howard the Duck together. I think like have like there be scenes where Howard rides around on Hulk's shoulder would be hilarious.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised it didn't happen in What If, given like they do different little cool crossovers.
But let's go into one of my
I'm excited to hear yours.
Full pitches. So I think I'm gonna go with first with my She-Hulk pitch. So this would be a story based off of the Cosmic Squish Principle arc from the 80s and 90s sensational She-Hulk run. Have you ever read that that arc?
I might have read a bit of it. It's been a while, so like I might recognize some stuff as you say something. I'm excited to hear more about this.
So this would feature a team up between She-Hulk and Howard the Duck as they get kidnapped and brought into a crazy multiversal adventure by a pretentious narrating offshoot of the Watchers, who goes by the name the Critic, where like he literally looks like a stereotypical classical pretentious movie reviewer or book reviewer. So and so where we go to some of the weirdest Marvel universes is in existence. And so and all of these universes I'm about to mention are real universes that already exist in the comics. So these universes are stuff like the Baloneyverse, where there's deli meats everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The Trashiverse, where Donald Trump is a world leader, which is a wild thing that they actually made that a thing in the 80s.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump was fucking infamous back in the 80s. He was so like obviously he's always been an annoying person, but like people seem to forget back in the fucking 80s, everyone fucking hated him. New York hated him. Like
it's so funny to me that is like a Simpsons level prediction. Like not only the fact that that he would become a world leader, but also the fact that they called all the world where he's a world leader the Trashiverse. I think is particularly funny because of how relevant it is today with how people so many people, myself included, believe he's kind of turning the White House into white trash with stuff like the UHC fights and stuff. So I think that's it's hilarious how relevant that is today that they put that in. And then we also have the 976 verse, which is like a sleazy world that's filled with naked women and people talking to phone sex lines. Um, that is just a couple of the different crazy AZ worlds that they went to in these comics. Um, they also the main villain of it they fight is this guy I named Dr. Angst, which he is a magic villain that kind of looks like a version of Doctor Strange who created his costume off of like just a bunch of bullshit he found around the house.
Mm.
And Doctor Angst's band of the Blands, which is literally a group of villains that are all ripoffs of more popular villains. And then and then also as the last thing I'll mention with this pitch is that we get to see a She-Hulk's flying car in this.
Mm. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. That'd be really cool.
So what do you think of this pitch?
I think it's really cool and really fun. And you can actually make it kind of like Bill and Ted of the MCU, but with Hulk,
Mhm.
with She-Hulk and Dot with Howard the Duck. I think that would be really fun. And I do like when it comes to comedy, especially superhero comedies, I want more stylized superhero comedies. So I
Mhm.
do like the stylization of this. You could make it more like an 80s film or a 90s
Yeah.
film in a way. And there's a lot of great potential for so much humor and stuff. And
Okay.
it also another thing is you can actually have that some of that reflect modern jokes. You can update the comic in a way, but not
Oh
make
yeah.
it super removed per se. Like you can talk about other
Yeah,
stuff.
there's definitely some things that they would have to update if they were to make this into a movie. A particularly a there are some of the villains in the band of the Blands are a little culturally offensive,
I
which
mean,
is
it's an 80s comic book. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
and then also also one of the universes that they go to
Yeah.
is a universe where everybody has the same face, and it's a face of a dictator from the 80s and 90s, which is sign that audiences now are not going to get the reference.
Well, yeah, and also another thing is that like it's still like I mean you could maybe make it funny or you could change the person, the face to someone else from like present day times or like just some other wild reference that could be a better punchline, you know.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can look up some of these other ones that there is. So we got so one of them I probably wouldn't have this one be adapted. And I'd probably replace it with something else. But this one is called the Dimension of Suicide, which is literally a dimension where people are just falling from the sky. I
That is so 80s. It's dark and funny, but I'm like that.
mhm.
I'm like you have to call it
There's
something else.
there's one that Howard refers to as the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" verse, which is a world where the Earth has been ruined by a bunch of nuclear explosions, but everybody is completely optimistic that things will turn out all right at the end. Which is I think is a funny concept.
Yeah.
There is the Inspireverse, which is a universe that Doctor Angst is trying to create in it. And then there is the Mediaverse, which let me see. Hey, so Mediaverse is one where everybody has camcorders for heads and microphones for hands.
Hmm.
And so all the TVs are showing a different inhabitant's point of view, which is interesting. There is the narcissist verse, which is a universe where the inhabitants exercise to the point of perfection, then collapse from exhaustion over cliffs where they were eaten by tigers.
That there's a lot of great punchlines for some of this universe, and also you could like with the mediaverse, obviously because of social media, it's so easier to make that a thing about now with like phones, TikTok, and other stuff. Like so, like there's a lot of cool punchline jokes of the '80s that can be translated into something else now. So I think a lot of these still do work.
The one where it's this dictator from or from the 80s is um is Manuel Noriega, which is apparently de facto ruler of Panama from 1983 to 1989.
That is such an '80s reference. Like he's not
Yeah, I'm
talked
like,
about
no, no,
now.
nobody would know that nowadays.
No, because he
But
reminds you.
I feel like you could replace this universe with one with some person from real life that's famous that people would know these days. Like
Or
you could have that everybody is Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something.
yeah, no, no, exactly. You can pick someone famous who will be known for a long time,
Oh.
and that'd be more of a timely reference. Yeah, that would be really fun.
In this universe, even the moon has this guy's face on it.
Okay, that's really fun.
And then the last of these universes is appeared in this comic was is a puppet verse, where everybody's just puppet people.
Hmm. There's a lot of cool
Uh,
stuff in this that I think will still work as good jokes now.
oh yeah, I think it could be really fun. On in like some of the universes you might want to change. Age and they're probably like new universes they could also create that could be that they I trust that they could come up with some really funny different kinds of universes. All right, so after that, you said that there are some other pitches you have that you would like to talk about. Just what would you like to talk about next?
There's another pitch I was thinking about because I was kind of like, oh yeah, there's some other story ideas I like to do, but I'm probably better for a something with She-Hulk or So one idea I want to do for She-Hulk that I think the MCU might do in a few years is a proper story about her and Betty Ross becoming Red She-Hulk, and them having to team up against another villain. And I was thinking a great female villain for them to go up against that could lead to more crossovers in like a little mini Avengers film. You can have Jen and Betty go after Ling, the new Mandarin of the Ten Rings, and you can actually have a little bit of a commentary with like Betty loves her father but didn't become her father. Ling loved her father, resented him, and then became him. She became the new Mandarin, and she's doing all this other stuff. And you could actually do something kind of cool where you know, okay, so in Shang-Chi, when they have that little tournament that Xiling runs,
Mhm.
and you have Wong and Abomination there doing some fighting. You have Black Widows, they're in there doing some other cool stuff. I had this idea that Xiling creates a new tournament for MCU villains to fight in to make money. Like you kind of ref stuff like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, whatever. And she takes Red Hulk, like not even thinking, she just takes Red Hulk for entertainment, planning to put him back. Betty has to go save her father, and then it leads to a whole bunch of like conflicts throughout, where basically Xiling is working on creating her new form of the Ten Rings, but not her father's Ten Rings, the comic book accurate rings with different powers per ring that
Okay.
she wants for herself, and she does this by taking aspects of different fighters throughout the film, and of course, one of the rings, because in the comics, the Mandarin has a green ring that fires like this green laser thing. So she actually creates like a gamma radiation ring that
Mhm.
that she can use to absorb energy from Jen from Jen and Betty. And of course, Betty knows gamma radiation. She turns herself into a Red Shield for obvious reasons to save her
Mhm.
father, and she has to go help Jen. Obviously, Bruce will also show up later on. But when Bruce shows up later on, he shows up with Shang-Chi, Rhodey to reference the Iron Man connection, and some other things here and there. You can kind of make this sort of become like a setup for Armor Wars, for the Armor Wars film, which is still going to happen. But you can actually have this really because with female superhero movies and shows or even comic books, I'd like it when it's a woman versus another woman,
Yeah.
right? Because there's there are conversations that in real life and in fiction women can have with each other that I don't think they can have with a male antagonist. And with Betty and Jiling, I think they were it would be kind of interesting to have them
Mhm.
talk about their dads in a certain way. Where because with Jiling, she loved when she's like, no, I loved him, and he wasn't there for me because after our mother died, I looked so much like my mother. He just ignored me because Shang Chi was his favorite, and that's how it was. And then with Betty, you know, in the comics and in the MCU and even in other Marvel stuff, she's always been kind of overlooked, other than being the love interest of the
Mhm.
Hulk. Her history with her father is obviously very complicated. It kind of forms a basis of Hulk lore in a way. You know, her General Thunderbolt Ross. Now in the MCU, in Captain America: Brave New World, you know, she and him made peace, and he's not hunting anyone anymore. He's just Red Hulk, and he's in prison. So her wanting to save her father from being from Jiling's tournament and wanting to like she's like no, my father did some bad stuff. He doesn't deserve to be Red Hulk forever in your tournament just because you want it to be a thing. And Jiling is kind of like he's not a good person. And I'm like, who cares? Like he used to be president. Now no one cares about that
Mhm.
anymore. This obviously post Secret War, so like you can kind of be a little bit meta about the changes, right? But also, you know, with Shang-Chi, there's a beautiful moment that I think is very underrated, and I think it's kind of it's sad, and when of course when Wenwu the Mandarin, the real Mandarin in Shang-Chi, he's obviously a bad guy. They have to stop him, and then spoiler alert if you haven't seen that film, um, Wenwu has dies to saving Shang. He gets killed by this dragon to dwell in the darkness, and there's a moment where Jiling comes with she picks up Shang and she turns and she sees her father's corpse, and then she has a look of shock, and then she turns to Shang, and she also has this look of guilt where she's like,
Mhm.
"Fuck, I couldn't like." Because I think they both knew, even Sean knew, we weren't going to kill Dad. We were never going to kill Dad. We never wanted Dad to die. We're just going to stop him. And with Ji Ling, I took with her leading the Ten Rings, I took that as her being like, I'm taking the best thing my father ever did, which was this criminal organization, and I'm taking it for me, and I'm gonna make it better than ever, and I'm gonna I'm gonna honor him and honor me by making this the best supervillain organization in the world. And the only way to do that is to give myself more power and to do this, that. So
Mhm.
like, so to her perspective, to Ji Ling's perspective, she's still a good. She's still like I think some of the best villains are the ones who think they're the heroes of their own story. And with
Yeah.
Jiling, objectively speaking, it's easy to understand where she's coming from. It's easy to root for her. But when you have people like Jen and Betty being like, you're endangering the world, you're endangering innocent people, and you have a god complex, and you are crossing major lines right now. That's why like Shang-Chi 2 is going to happen in a few years. The relationship between Jiling and Shang, I think is going to be interesting. They can't do a repeat of the first film. You know what I mean? But he does have to confront her in a way about like you're going down a dark path.
Mhm.
I think there can be more suspense and tension if you had two female superheroes like She-Hulk and Red She-Hulk confronting Jiling because you had the element of
Mhm.
they're not related. So Shang-Chi will hold back against his own sister. Jen and Betty won't. So you can actually have some
Mhm.
great action, some great character drama, and you can use the Ten Rings organization, this new version, underneath Jiling to set up other supervillains in the MCU post Secret Wars, and you could just make it about daughters and their parents in a way, and go from there.
I like that a lot. There's I think you mentioned like you could have the have that help set up other villains. You could also have that help set up other villain organizations by having like there being mentions of them doing business with stuff like
Yeah,
AIM,
yeah.
or even if they, I doubt they want to do this again after how many times they've already done it. But you could have Hydra come back.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff they could do. Like, I do, like, because even like with one of the things I'm most excited for Spider-Man: Brand New Day with the Hand, because like the Hand hasn't been in a movie since the Elektra movie in 2005 or six, and the Hand was last seen in the Daredevil MCU
Mhm.
verse since like Defenders in 2017. So I was just kind of like, holy shit, they not only did they bring them back, they're making them better. They look more comic book accurate. They look more fun. And you're doing the silly stuff of having them fight Spider-Man and these other people. I'm like, now imagine a more comic book accurate version of AIM in the MCU in a few years. Like that could be crazy, that could be fun. And with the 10 rings, they're gonna come back in big force in a Shang-Chi 2 or a I know even what's his name, Finn Jones, who plays Danny Rand Iron Fist. Somebody asked him recently, "What do you want to do in the near future?" And he's like, "I would love to fight Shang Chi. I probably won't win, but I would love to
Mhm.
meet him, have a fight with him, and then do something cool together." That again, like you could have the 10 Rings launch other villains, other
Mhm.
villain groups, and because with the 10 Rings, it's martial arts and science fiction put together. So you can actually have them be really, really classic comic book villain stuff under Ji Ling, and you can justify the changes by having her basically being like, "I'm trying my hardest to make this the best organization ever. I'm trying to do things that other people can't," and she can even justify herself to Betty and Jen, being like, "I shut down sex trafficking. I've fixed the drug trade. Yes, I run weapons. Yes, I run this for money, but I've done better security. I'm like just because Jiling would justify everything to herself, being like, "No, I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm right. I'm better than my father, and I'm less of a monster than he ever is." And of course, to Jen and Betty, who look like monster women, they're like, "No, you ain't. You are a monster." Like that'd be kind of funny. It's like,
Oh. I definitely really like that. Next I'm gonna go with my main pitch and my definitely and probably my longest pitch.
mm,
So this is so I've talked to you about this in DMs before, but so this would be a post Secret Wars Hulk film that I call Hulk Break the Cycle.
mm,
My idea would be is that he's in therapy. Bruce is in therapy because he wants to be a better father to Scar, than his father was to him, and the film would slowly go from fun and lighthearted at the start of the film
mm.
to a dark climax as Bruce has more and more trouble in therapy, which is starting to affect his time as a hero outside of therapy. Till inevitably he can't take it anymore and hulks out angrier than ever, tracks down his father, but before he can do that, I had Doc Sampson, who I would be having as his lawyer, not his
Mm.
lawyer, his as his therapist,
His therapist, yeah.
is alerts the Hawk family, so they all show up at his father's house. I was trying to stop him from killing his father, knowing he'll regret it. They fight him. We have this battle between Hulk and then the rest of the Hulk family all together, and the and but he is stronger than all of them, and overpowering them. As we have this fight, the Lonely Man theme from the '70s Hulk show
Mm.
would play over it, But as he starts to choke his dad, he sees Scar standing nearby, scared. We would then see a Bruce appearing in a piece of glass on the ground, telling Hulk, "Please stop." Similar to the scene in Moon Knight that uses the same message for our Stephen and Mark to communicate, and he remembers the sight. He witnesses an instance of his father killing his mother, and lets his father go. So that is like the basically synopsis, and then like the rest of this is just as the different ideas I had as the film goes on. So the film would open with a Hulk themed in Marvel Studios logo intro, where the logo is green and is both green and purple, and starts out arts out lowercase, but then it hulks out into uppercase.
Mm.
Then we get a montage of comic panels from Hulk's comic origin that quickly change into live action, making this is the first time we've seen the actual comic accurate origin in live action. And as this happens, and we as this montage is happening, the 60s Hulk cartoon theme song plays is over it. Then this film would have no main villain, but we see a Hulk fighting multiple villains at different points in the film.
Mm.
We keep cutting away to Bruce in therapy. A Hulk teams up with She-Hulk early in the film. They have a friendly a competition, smashing bad guys. As the villain for this battle is Red Hulk, who's entered into a partnership with AIM to use their robots in place of soldiers. Some robots will even look like Hulk and She-Hulk, as a reference to when Ross used a Hulk-shaped missile in the early Hulk comics. Right before this, right before the battle with Red Hulk at the start of the film, we would see a Hulk and She-Hulk at an escape room that has been specifically made for superheroes. And Bruce would help Hulk and She-Hulk with his intelligence, communicating as a voice in Hulk's head. So like there would be a stuff that is particularly made in this escape room for someone who's smart to figure out, and then stuff that is for someone who's strong to figure out, like someone to be able to having to punch or pick up stuff like that. And we'd have Hulk facing the Abomination, who is back to being a villain, but still has his mind. It's clear that Hulk and Abomination, while they do fight each other, they have a bit of a friendship. This being one of the main changes from Secret Wars. Abomination notices Hulk is kind of distracted, off his game, and asks him about it. Hulk says that Bruce is in therapy, and he doesn't know how this affects Hulk. But we would see both scenes with Bruce with Scar, and scenes with Hulk with Scar. Scar would consider the two of them his two dads, as in Bruce teaches is Scar science in one of these scenes, and takes him for ice cream in another. And then with the Hulk scenes with Scar, one of them would be Hulk training with him, and the other would be them just playing catch, but with boulders.
Very cool.
Rick Jones owns A-Bomb would appear as a friend of Bruce, who meets him for lunch. He would be the one who actually convinces Bruce to do therapy. Right before the climax, with Hulk taking over to go kill his father, Doc Samson and would put Bruce and Hulk in a dreamscape to have a sort of joint therapy session. And this ends up being the what takes Hulk to his breaking point. The final moments of the film, after Hulk's let go of his father, we'd have Jen walking up to Brian Banner, picking him up, brushing his body slightly, as she does, and says, "I've heard about what you did to my cousin, and my aunt, my cousins and my aunt. You twisted, you sick, twisted motherfucker, and I really don't appreciate it." And then she throws him back into his house, breaking the wall, knocking him out. And she joins back with the family, and Hulk would say, "Jen, what the hell?" Because like they were literally just trying to stop him from fighting his father. But Jed's like, I responds, "Don't worry, he's still alive. He's just knocked out. He probably won't be walking anytime soon." They have a big Hulk family group hug as the camera pans away. As the credits play, the song on "Nobody Loves the Hulk" plays. And at the end of the credits, it says "The Incredible Hulk will return." But the words keep getting crossed out as this happens. First, it says "The Incredible Hulk," then it says "Unstoppable Hulk," then it says "Savage Hulk," then it says "Ever Loving Hulk," then it says "Sensational She-Hulk," then it says "Scar, Son of Hulk," then it says "Bruce Banner," and then it says "Red Hulk." And finally, it settles on "The Hulk family will return." There's a post-credit scene of the Hulk family playing apples to apples together. And it's Jen's turn to judge the and the green card she gets. It's a create your own. Jen Ed says let's do sexy, which causes his Scar to say ew, gross, and Hulk to say, "Really, Jen? Really?" Bruce comes out and says yeah, I gotta agree with Hulk and Scar. I don't approve of this choice, Jen. Rick Jones would also be there, and he would just laugh at the situation. And as the scene is about to end, a door opens to reveal real Liv Tyler Betty Ross, which everyone unhappily shouts "Betty" as they go to greet her. So that is the whole pitch. I have as well some casting stuff. So I would either have Mark Ruffalo return as Bruce, or I'd have a younger actor or doing it, and and that determines who I would cast as Brian Banner, because like you have to have a much older actor if it's Mark Ruffalo playing Bruce.
Yeah.
So if I keep Mark Ruffalo as Bruce, I think it would be fun to have Christopher Lloyd be Brian Banner.
That'd be really cool.
And if I cast a younger actor as Bruce, which my possible younger actors for Bruce would be either Grant Gustin or Jay Baruchel. I'm probably mispronouncing that last name. But it's the actor who was in the Sorcerer's Apprentice with
Jay Baruchel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I was to have a younger actor, like one of them, then who I cast as Brian Banner is Bryan Cranston.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool because Bryan Cranston, he's very obviously a great actor, and obviously he can play threatening very well, but he can also play, I think, deadbeat father, kind of like a father who fell into bad shit really well.
But also so Brian only for the main part are like really only appears at the end of the film, and he's like there'll be the flashback of him killing his mother, which he'll be threatening for that, but like for the rest of his time in it, it'll kind of be him being scared because Hulk is trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And I both Christopher Lloyd and Bryan Cranston could do well at that scared role.
Oh yeah. I completely agree. And it would be like it's still like different enough in my opinion from like their other characters, and it's still fitting with their on-screen presence.
So that post credit scene and probably feels very random and the reason I did that and I thought it would be funny to do that. So this is kind of an adaptation of a scenario that I actually went through when I was younger. So we were playing as a family apples to apples together, and my aunt and got the green card to judge, and it was a create your own card. So she said, "Let's do sexy as the as what we're choosing," and I was like, and I at that point, I was not very comfortable in my sexuality at all. And I kind of was just like coward and coward, and I was and like when I put a card down on, I also had a create your own card, and I was like, nothing, nothing is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I thought that would be funny to have that She-Hulk does that, and it causes Scar to kind of recoil, and his two dads of Hulk and Bruce being like, "Hey, we're not doing that."
Yeah. That also like that would be kind of fitting with not just like MCU humor, but just like family humor, like awkward family humor. It's like what the fuck?
Yeah, and like I would also have like there would be a bit of teasing throughout the film that that Bruce has not been dating in a while, and like Scar trying to get him back into dating, and that's kind of where my idea of having this reveal of Betty coming back at the very end and came from.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really liked it kind of reminds me a little bit of like an upbeat family vacation type thing. You know what I mean? I really like that.
Yeah. So, is there anything in particular about this bit you'd like to talk about? You particularly really liked?
I really liked what you did with well, how you handle like re-showing Bruce and the family, but also I like what you did with Red Hulk and AIM, and I really like how the idea of playing a Lonely Man theme during the climax. I'm like, I love that theme. I think it's one of the greatest TV themes of all time. Super iconic. Everyone knows it. Even if they haven't watched that show, they know that theme. I'm like, that would be a brilliant moment to bring that idea. Yeah, I mean, I would still love to hear more of that in general. Yeah, I mean, because it's just like it's classic '70s music, and it fits the Hulk so well. And it's one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta bring it back. It's kind of like how me and some other people feel with the '90s X-Men thing. You know what I mean? It's just that iconic.
Oh yeah, it's I love that theme. I also love the '60s animated Hulk theme song on which my theme song for my podcast is a parody of that. And so so that's why I'm like I want to put that at the beginning during this opening montage of like Hulk comic panels, and then also there's one other official Hulk song on that Marvel's had produced, which is this song called "Nobody Loves the Hulk," and so so I was like that we can put that over the credits as those are playing.
That's really cool. I really like that pitch and your other pitch. Like it's really like I like how you represent the lighter aspects of the Hulk comics and Hulk media.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And because like those are underrated moments, and I think it should be put into some MCU stuff
Mhm.
more. You know?
Yeah. All right. So no. Oh, I have two more pitches.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else that you would like to do first, or do you want me to just go into those?
I think you share one more pitch for fun, and then I would like to hear your final two.
All right.
So I had I had one idea for a World War Hulk movie. I shared it like to some other friends of mine, like in a Discord writing pitch session for fun, and they all liked it. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I'll bring it here. And so I had this one idea for a if they were to do a World War Hulk movie, it should be a one-time event film. Now, with the World War Hulk book, there's a lot of superheroes, there's a lot of cameos. Some of them are
Mhm.
unneeded, and for an MCU movie, you got to scale back just a little bit because of contracts. And with World War Hulk, I feel like in the Mutant Saga, in the X-Men saga, you should make World War Hulk. If the Kevin Feige ever does it, make World War Hulk the spiritual sequel to Captain America: Civil War. The idea
Mhm.
of like you have heroes fighting each other, and there's a crisis that has to be solved. And so basically, this is what I would do. This is post Secret Wars, and Bruce Banner, beloved celebrity scientist, people love him, you know. And like with Reed Richards, he's out making bridges with several other superheroes, and it's in a post Secret Wars MCU, so things are different. Black Bolt and the Royal Inhuman family exists on the moon. They're public to the world, and Bruce Banner and Reed Richards, they're all talking to them and hanging out and having fun, doing all this cool stuff. And so a lot of stuff starts to go wrong when a member of the Inhumans royal family, Maximus, the evil brother of Black Bolt, who has mind control powers, he escapes from Analan, and Gyrich, the X-Men villain Gyrich, who works as a government official, makes a deal with Maximus for Maximus to be on Earth. And they offer him a pardon, they offer him all these different things. Because it's a huge political process, kind of like Civil War, where they're like, oh no, Black Bolt, you're on the moon. You're a royal official on the moon. You are not allowed on Earth. Your brother's going to stay with us here on Earth, and he's going to help us weaponize his mind control as a deterrent to be used against a lot of the superheroes, just in the event they go wrong. And of course, a lot of people like Bruce Banner, Reed Richards, and other Avengers are like, no, because he has mind control powers. They could just frame someone like that and just go from there. The amount of terrible things that could happen will be fucking insane, right? Like they're obviously worried about the political implications, and even Gyrich throws in their face. We know you have Charles Xavier, one of the world's most strongest telepaths. Don't act like this isn't fair. You have your own mental deterrent, and we have ours, and we're gonna go from there. And they're trying to handle this as peacefully as possible, but eventually Maximus fucks up, and he kills Scar physically. Scar's body is dead. Scar's mind, his body, his mental spirit is in Maximus's mental space. And Jean and Charles can sense, okay, your son, they tell Bruce, your son is dead. We think we can resurrect him because there's a whole thing with X-Men with cloning. So they do tell Bruce, we think we can save your son if we can get a hold of Maximus's mind because your son's mental consciousness inside of his head. This is meant to be an out in the event they want Scar to keep going more in the MCU because I do kind of feel like you need a reason for Hulk to go bad, but you can't have Scar stay dead. So the image of Maximus killing Scar and taking away his mental spirit for as a trophy fucks with Bruce and Hulk so bad, and Gyrich and other government officials throwing that in the Hulk's face, and basically they piss off Hulk so bad. Bruce and Hulk make a deal. They're like, "You have 24 hours. You get Maximus and you save our son. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care what superhero gets in our way. I'm helping you resurrect our son. I am tired of like." And basically it becomes a thing where all these other superheroes are fighting Bruce because of the fact that things are going to get worse. Because Gyrich is using this to justify going against other superheroes. And to tie into the X-Men saga, to the Mutant saga, Hulk makes a deal with Mr. Sinister, who has cloning technology. And Mr. Sinister is like, oh no, I have your son's DNA. I can clone him a new body. Bring me Maximus, and I can get you a telepath to put his mind into this new body. And of course, they do it. He gets a hold of Maximus. Hulk resurrects his son. And then at the end of it, Hulk snaps Maximus's neck. Because they say, no, the second he said, oh no, I saved my son. I don't have no reason for you to live. Gyrick and the government is pissed about it. They find we had a telepath on our side. Black Bolt is upset about it because it's like, I just lost my brother was a terrible person. I just lost my brother. And you can reference the Black Bolt versus Hulk fight, which is basically they collide together, they fight. And it will lead to a bunch of cool stuff. And eventually Scar will ask his father to stop. Because that's one of the biggest problems with World War Hulk. No matter what happens, Hulk has to be convinced to stop. He can't be losing a fight. So I would do something kind of different where Hulk does stop and Max and Black Bolt does understand why he did it. Because what Maximus did and all this other terrible stuff. And to make peace with Black Bolt, Hulk ends up going to the moon in temporary exile. And there's some other ideas I wanted to do, but I realized we couldn't do it because of where the MCU is. Because okay, one of the biggest problems with the World War Hulk book is that Hulk doesn't kill anyone. He doesn't kill any of the superheroes. So you need to have consequences that will live on. So with Maximus, I feel like he should die, right? And Hulk making a deal with Mr. Sinister, while some of the Avengers will be irritated with him, they understand why he did it. The X-Men are going to be kind of like you went to him to bring back your son. And at the end of it all, Black Bolt makes peace with Bruce and they go forward together. And he also tells Bruce, your son Scar is welcome here anytime in Nanoland. And with Gyrick is embarrassed about the whole thing because he's like, not only did we lose a mental weapon, we lost like this, and the Hulk is going to be on the moon in a temporary exile. I can't even get to him. And then we reveal in a post-credit scene, Gyrick is talking to the leader. And the leader is just smiling because he's happy, because he's kind of like, he basically, the leader is just kind of like, oh, no, I'm going to help the Hulk family dominate. But I need to know what Gyrick is doing. So I had this implication that that the leader is going to use Gyrick for his own future plans, and he's going to go from there. And I wanted this is kind of like my way of like doing World Breaker Hulk, but also making sure that it'll be easy for Hulk to show up in a future Avengers film and not because that's one of the biggest problems with the World War Hulk book is him being a villain and going after other superheroes is cool. The book falls apart towards the end when they have to do some stuff. So at least with this, I'm like, no. I'm going to create a reason for why Bruce and Hulk makes a deal together to do this thing. You fight different superheroes, and at the end of it, he's able to save his son. Because with Scar, there's some Hulk fans who hate Scar, and I'm like, I get why you hate him because you don't think he's interesting. But I'm like, but he's his son. Like it's the Hulk son. He can't die. He can be threatened, but he can't die. So that's like just one crazy idea I would do to show what Bruce and the Hulk would be like together. Like because as a scientist, Bruce would be like, oh no, I know a way to bring it back. The Hulk wouldn't have the patience for it, so he would go to someone else to prep the technology for the body and then go from there. And with Maximus is a huge, terrifying mental villain. And I'm like, yeah, he's someone I can make him into a temporary Hulk villain, kill him, and then the consequence would be that Bruce has to be on the island, not in prison, just as a exiled guest, so to speak, for a while, and then they go from there. You know what
I mean? I like that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And I think the Inhumans deserve some redemption after that. So
no, that was my idea. Like that was my whole thing of like if there's any way to, I mean, Black Bolt will probably show up in Secret Wars or in the future MCU film. If there's a way to make him cool, we need to show him fighting the Hulk with his super strength and his flying, and you have to show that Black Bolt at the end of the day is a wise king with a heart. So while he'll be grieving the death of his brother, he would be like, I understand, and I can't just kill the Hulk in front of his son. and I can't undo what he did. So the only thing I can do is just offer Bruce and Hulk a deal and go from there. And obviously, you can have stuff like Hulk versus the Fantastic Four. You can have She-Hulk trying to stop Hulk, and of course, it ends in a stalemate. And like there was some obviously we can reference Logan versus Hulk, Hulk versus Captain America, versus Sam Wilson, all this other stuff. And I guess the closest I would compare it to, I guess it would be kind of like Fast and Furious 8. You know what I mean? When the family's going after Dominic. But in this, he's not blackmailed or anything. Hulk is not blackmailed. Hulk is like, no, no, no. I'm gonna do whatever I can to resurrect my son. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me. Whether a U.S. government official, whether another superhero, I am willing to do whatever I can to save my son because I'm Hulk, and this is I'm also Bruce is also in here telling me what to do. It's all gonna work out. Like so, I think because with World War Hulk or the idea of World Breaker Hulk, you need an understandable emotional motive.
Yeah.
And after all the stuff MCU has been through, losing so many different people, losing Natasha, losing all this other stuff. I'm like, no, the second his son is killed, if there's a way to resurrect him, he'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think that's be a really cool version of World War Hulk. Yeah, you really do have to figure out a good way to make him angrier than he's ever been. I think that's a good way to do it. Like my Hulk pitch that I just told you about. It for the most part, started as being my idea for what I'd have as a World War Hulk film because when I first started thinking about that was around when like all those rumors were happening about World War Hulk film and when and Scar was introduced and She-Hulk, I was like, this is how you make Hulk angrier than he's ever been. You have him go to therapy for being trying to be a better father. Yeah. So my next pitch is a pitch that is of a alternate universe thing where it is supposed to be Hulk's actual 60s origin story from the comics. So for this this origin story I've wanted I think I've mentioned to you before I've wanted to see that original origin story in live action for years, and I came up with this pitch after watching a Wes Anderson movie. And I would want Wes Anderson to be the director of this. I think that Wes Anderson could really get right that retro comics sort of funny, ridiculous feel that the original 6 issues of Hulk had at all. So first off, obviously, as I said before, this would be its own thing, not connected to the MCU. Now, so what I want to include in this is stuff. So I should say the film though that actually made me think of this is for Wes Anderson is Asteroid City. So I would be wanting a bunch of stuff out of the first 6 Hulk issues. We'd have Hulk briefly being gray. To reference how he originally was gray. And then but then we'd have because I feel like this is side that Wes Anderson would absolutely do. We'd have it. We would have just like in the comics, he is suddenly green with no in-story explanation whatsoever. We'd have him transforming at night as opposed to being angry, which was which again is how they had him in those original comics. We'd see him going to Russia and meeting the villain Gargoyle, fighting the Toadmen, and General Ross making a Hulk-shaped missile to fight Hulk with. General Ross would be the main villain of the film.
Mhm.
So for the cast, asked I no I when I made this a few years ago. I challenged myself by only having people that Wes Anderson has worked with in the past.
Mhm.
So, Owen Wilson would be my Dr. Bruce Banner.
That's I was thinking about that. She's like that'd be a great pick.
Tom Hanks as General Ross. Tony Revolori as Rick Jones.
That's great.
Steve Carell as the Gargoyle. Either or Jason Schwartzman or Adrian Brody as Igor. And then we'd have both Willem Dafoe and Jeff Goldblum as different Toadmen. And then Leah Seydoux, I'm probably not pronouncing
Leah
it.
Sado. Leah Sado,
Sado
yeah.
as Betty Ross.
That's great.
And then I'd have like different Hawk actors like Mark Ruffalo, Edward Norton, Eric Bana making cameos as random military officers. Or say, hey, what do you think of this idea?
I love it with Wes Anderson. I've always been a fan of him for like different
Mm-hmm.
films for years, and I remember like honestly because he's kind of a nerd of different things. I could see him doing a comic book movie. Obviously, it would be in his style, and
Yeah.
it being a 1960s whole comic in his style with his whimsy would be
Mm-hmm.
really really great for a like for another universe type film, and like yeah, he could definitely do it. It'd be really cool. I with Wes Anderson, his whole style and everything is every shot would look like a painting.
Mm-hmm.
To do that for a comic book movie, I want to see that. I want
Oh yeah.
a comic book movie where every shot is like a comic book panel, is super
Mm-hmm.
colorful, super vibrant, and the actors are just embodying that feel. Like I think he could definitely do that.
Oh
Well,
yeah. What do you think of the cast that I created?
oh, I think it's spot on. I think it's spot on. Like, even like as you were saying, the second you said Wes Anderson, I'm like, what gotta be on? Like what? Like, I'm like, there are a lot of great actors that Wes
Oh yeah.
Anderson worked with, but I'm like, but Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson, Wes has known since they went to high school in Texas. So like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he would get Owen. Yeah.
To be honest, it surprises me that Owen Wilson has never played Bruce Banner
Oh no
because
no.
because I feel like I think I've heard that he's been in the running at different points, but like that but he just feels like a classic Bruce Banner. He would do a really good job at that.
No. With Owen Wilson, you know, like everyone knows him, everyone loves him. Obviously, you know, he's done comedy, done drama. He has a lot of great range, and there was a period of time where I I was kind of like, you know, uh, Owen Wilson to me, just from even if with the fact that he's like I think he's 50 something.
Mhm.
If you got him, I about like they'll probably never do it. If James Gunn got Owen Wilson to play a um a happy fatherly Batman, I'm like I can see it because he's talented
Mhm.
enough to be serious and
Mhm.
also like he has the experience to convey that he went through a lot of this stuff, right? And but with Owen Wilson, I love the fact that he's in the MCU as Mobius. He absolutely could have played
Mhm.
so many so many Marvel heroes in my opinion. Like if he
Mhm.
was Reed Richards in the 2000s or something else, I'm like he absolutely would have been
Oh
perfect
yeah.
because with Owen Wilson, he's from like that rare uh, selection of actors that can do relatability. Like they can make
Yeah.
like if you got Owen Wilson to play a superhero, he would make it as relatable and as human as possible,
Mhm.
regardless of what's happening on screen. Because even like with Mobius, it's a guy in a desk job in charge of a time agency talking to a god.
Mhm.
And yet Owen Wilson as Mobius, he not only just take it straight, he makes it seem like it's as grounded as ever. Anyone can
Yeah.
understand where he's coming from.
Oh yeah. I love almost this Mobius. To be honest, I don't think I've seen any role from Owen Wilson that I disliked. Like, to be
Oh no,
honest.
no, no, no. That's the thing about Owen Wilson. Again, like he's
Uh,
one of those things where like even if whenever he was in films I didn't like, I never disliked him. He was always good.
mhm. You mentioned like the idea of him being a lighthearted a Batman. Have you seen the animated Merry Little Batman and movie?
I think I might have seen
So that
something. Huh?
so that came out that was came out as a Christmas Batman thing on Amazon Prime a few years ago, and the
Mhm.
voice of Batman is Owen Wilson's brother Luke.
Oh, I had no idea that's actually really funny.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly what you were describing. I mean, of a lighthearted fatherly Batman.
Yeah,
And he literally is playing. He literally has a kid in this animated film.
that's really funny. I checked that out. I saw I if I saw anything for that, it must have been a tweet, but I have not seen that film.
Yeah, that's fine. I just thought that was fine. I imagine, but like I think like the particular ones out of this cast that really I think work the best is like Owen Wilson's Dr. Bruce Banner. Tom Hanks as General Ross, I think would work really
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah. Especially
Uh
Tom Hanks. You know, Tom Hanks is a master comic book fan. Even he talked about it for years ago. He says, "I love superheroes. I love comic books. Yet for some fucking reason, no one has ever got me to play one. And now I'm so old. The only thing I can play is maybe." I guess an old superhero, and a lot of people kind of like get him for Jake Garrick or Doctor Fate. He would kill it.
and then like then as well this is like I more of just like goofy casting, but I feel like they would enjoy doing this so much. Is having the Toadmen being both Willem Dafoe and Jeff Goldblum.
That would be funny. That would actually be really funny.
I feel like they would be a whole have a hilarious time on set
Hmm.
doing that. And like having the Toadmen be something goofy like that really feels like something that Wes Anderson would do. Sort of like how, or like he had in Asteroid City, that one goofy little scene of an alien.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That would be really funny.
All right, and then my final pitch
Hmm.
is my MCU parody movie.
Hmm.
So and just as a bit of a disclaimer before I get into this for the audience, this is a very mature idea. So you're gonna hear some crazy things, but basically, I want with the return of like the 2000s and parody movies of a movie things with Scary Movie 6 that came out earlier this year. I want to do a new version of a superhero parody film in that style. Since it was in the late 2000s the last time that one of those happened, and the superhero genre has changed a lot since
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There's so many jokes that you could do. Yeah.
I think the idea of like calling it MCU movie as the official title, and then like as the film starts, it revealing that MCU does not stand for or Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, in this it stands for Movie Cinematic Universe. So it's Movie Cinematic Universe movie.
Yeah.
And so oh let's get to things I've written down about this. So I base it I sit on a lot of the tropes that She-Hulk called out in its finale. And I make fun of all the bigots that have been whining since Endgame. Hey man, I'd have it end with its own end game portal scene, with a bunch of different heroes, those, but particularly ones that the MCU hasn't shown in a while. And jokes about why they weren't here this time. And like how I'd make those jokes work in the film, is that they arrive I've after our main characters already beat the villain. So it's like they haven't appeared in the MCU in a while, and they also arrived late for this. And the heroes those would respond, "Oh, we thought we'd just let you deal with the villain, so that you have to fight your battles alone." So it's more emotional. Which is side that a lot of fans and say is why it makes sense that in a lot of actual Marvel movies, is they never have their friends come help them. So it's just like pointing out how ridiculous that is. One of the groups of heroes that shows up should be a team of characters that Patton Oswalt has played. And if I could legally do it, I'd actually try to get Patton Oswalt to reprise the roles, because that would make the joke so much funnier. But these characters would include the five Koenigs from Agents of Shield, Pip the Troll, MODOK, and maybe even his Blade, a Trinity character.
That'd be funny.
Since there's no villain left for them to battle, the I'd have they just decide to hang out, have some friendly competition, and groups of heroes playing doing different things. Some fighting each other, some playing a board game, some playing D&D, some just eating shawarma. Some are literally just fucking while some are singing about fucking as a reference to disaster movie. Some are doing some boring like taxes. Maybe there's a therapy session happening between two of them. At the end, Deadpool is one of the people who are fucking, and he's fucking Wolverine. Or actually, Wolverine is fucking him, and Deadpool would shout out, "How do you like that, at homophobic dude bros? Your big manly man, and Wolverine is fucking me in the ass." And there's got to be claw play. Our main character is Jennifer Danvers, aka Captain Shulky. Her superhero persona is obviously based off of She-Hulk and Captain Marvel. If possible, I'd have Alison Brie play her, or as a reference to how Marvel was originally looking for an Alison Brie type actress to play She-Hulk. She will gain her powers by accidentally being out in the middle of a big battle, and a bunch of the female heroes accidentally hit her with their powers.
That'd be funny.
There would be a scene of her twerking in the air. Since you had so many people pissed off about the twerking scene in She-Hulk, but to make it crazier, as this happens, every superhero in the world is suddenly compelled to start twerking. Sorry. At the end, and she will be one of the people fucking. It will be her and Kate Bishop, and she will make a joke about her pussy being green as a reference to the Wicked Elphaba joke. There can be a scene where Captain Shulky meets Gamora, and they have a competition for who's the better green woman. Part of the way through, Poison Ivy shows up saying she wants to be on Sin, which Captain Shulky jokes, "You're not supposed to be in this universe. This is clearly the writer's obsession for hot green women and showing fuck it. Who cares? This is a parody. And then as the competition goes on, they're getting more and more turned on by each other. The challenges get more and more sexual as they say. They got the best screen boobs. They take their tops off to check, and then they decide to challenge each other, or who could and come the fastest, as such themselves the best. So they take everything off, and they finally decide to have threesome. After showing a bit of that, we get to the pair of cans to Harley Quinn and boobs out, sitting on a chair in the corner, one hand down her pants, the other holding a popcorn bucket. She yells, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Mhm.
Afterwards, Gamora and Ivy you can ask Captain Shulky if she would like to join the Council of Hot Green Women. There can be a scene where our Captain Shulky accidentally gets hit by some PIM tech, making her grow to 50 feet tall. Oh, until it wears off. Her clothes tear off, but Captain Shulky doesn't cover up. Instead, just decides to take a walk through the sunny street where people freak out. To which she yells, mockingly, "Oh, what? What? You haven't seen gigantic green titties before?" That and moves up and down a bit with her hands. Galactus shows up, saying, "Behold, prepare to be eaten, Earth." Earth and Captain Shulky responds, "No, no, no. Prepare, behold the green glory." As she makes a mocking gesture, or pointing towards her pussy as a show of dominance. And she says, "Oh, you want something to eat, Galactus? Well, you're in for a treat." She walks over to him, picks him up effortlessly, uses her strength to fold him so that her head is down, his head is down at his crotch, and says, "If you want something to eat, you can eat your own dick." Finally, to wrap up the scene, the giant Iron Captain Shulky, he flies up in the air, but the clouds, starts touching herself, squirting, which, due to how big she is, it's a crazy amount of squirting, making it seem like it's suddenly starting raining on the street below.
Mhm.
The villain is a mix of Trump and Thanos. The children of Thanos will look like different bigoted YouTube grifters, critical drinker, the quartering, neurotic, and Doomcock. We see a scene where they start attacking, and Captain Shulky, while she's just like eating crackers, and then while she's eating crackers, and they will use the crackers as their excuse to fight her, saying that her eating crackers is racism against white people. As they fight, maybe Captain Shulky can have some individual moments pointing out big dumbass things they did, like the quartering thinking that Stan Lee would want to live with him, even though this is someone who has said on Twitter that saying "fuck Hitler" is a yikes thing to say.
Mhm.
When Stan Lee is literally someone who fought in World War II against Hitler.
And it's Jewish.
Yeah, Doomcock. She would also point out about Doomcock telling everyone that because he hated the Star Wars sequel trilogy, they would just retcon it out of existence. Which is such a wild thing that for some reason a lot of people believed. No, maybe the Corvus is slave can be drunken and with Scottish accent, and he would say, as you can probably tell, there's a severe lack of good white people in this movie. We're the children of Thanos. We're here to purge the world of the message. And Jed would be like, "Wow, fascist much?" Call Obsidian with a dirty, unshaven beard. There we have it, folks. Yikes. Maybe we give the members of the Children of Thanos the wrong accents for their different grifters to make people be even madder about it.
Yeah.
be like, you didn't even get us right. There could be a moment where Captain America and Daredevil are having lunch together, are sitting at an outdoor cafe right on the sidewalk as Captain Shocky is fighting these bigots and like and one of the bigots like would see them and be like, Captain America, Daredevil, you guys are definitely on our side. Come save us. This raging man-hater Mary Sue is trying to kill us. And Captain America would just simply respond, no, I don't think I will. And Daredevil would yell, fuck you, piece of shit. There's no world where we're on your side. Captain Shalky will have a joke about power scaling and how the power scaling is really bad in this movie. Like how Captain Shalky would literally just defeat a Trump Thanos by punching him in the nuts with the Infinity Gauntlet so hard it sends him flying into space.
Hmm.
I'd want to have get some actors who have previously did parodies of superheroes in these parody films to either come back for cameos in it or maybe just use archive footage from these previous films for a parody of Marvel's opening logo sequence.
That'd be cool.
Having them be like people like Carmen Electra's version of Mystique or
Pamela Anderson as Susan.
Yeah, or like wasn't Tracy Morgan in
Professor X
and X and the superhero ability too?
That alone,
like
that alone would get people live to seeing footage of them like posing for the logo.
At the last second, and we would have like a parody of Doom show up, and the screen would go back. The text comes up saying MCM movie, MCM movie cinematic multiverse movie, and with a question mark right beside it, and as a bit of a smaller threat that Shulky fights earlier in the film is would be a parody version of Dr. Jennings from Howard the Duck, who accidentally sends her through a space beam to Duck World, where Captain Shulky first finds out about the Trump Thanos threat, as Trump Thanos decimates Duck World, and a Duck version of Doctor Strange in his dying moments sends Captain Shulky through a portal back home, saying, "You are the only hope for the universe." And this is where the time stone is taken. Captain Shulky doesn't immediately take the threat seriously, thinks someone else will just stop him. Trump Thanos' plan is to use the Infinity Gauntlet to kill all non-white humans and aliens under the guise of dealing with overpopulation, but then taking all their wealth and resources as his own. It will be revealed at the end that he's actually white, but he just painted himself purple to seem more threatening. Trump Thanos will find the Reality Stone simply as a lollipop that he buys at Delmar's Deli Grocery. And in order to put it in the gauntlet, he must lick it till it gets past the candy coating. This will happen at the same time as the scene of Captain Stalky fighting the bigoted YouTubers. Mephisto will have the Soul Stone in Hell, where it has a hologram coming out of it that looks like it's Tinder, but it's all people who have done terrible things that he's trying to decide who to swipe on to make deals with. Trump Thanos will have to help Mephisto make a choice in order for Mephisto to give him the stone. Midway through the film, while Trump Thanos is out collecting his stones, we'll have a scene where Captain Shulky's hanging out with her best friend Smashy at his beach house, hanging out, drinking hard lemonades in a room filled with stuffed animals, which help keep Ape Smash calm. And Smashy he catches his Captain Shulky up on his ventures on Sakaar, where he reveals that the Grand Collector has been cheating with his arena matches using the Power Stone to ensure his champion wins. But even with that, that Smashy beat all of them. And which that is going to be some foreshadowing for a bit later. So for the Mind Stone, Vision is just gonna take the form of a British talking vibrating butt plug that Tony has got stuck up his ass, and Trump Thanos will have to dig it out. The safe zone is in the possession of Randy's Donuts, where they've been using it to make their donuts very light and airy by putting little portals in the donuts to make them be light and airy.
Yeah, that's really funny.
As Trump Thanos comes to take the stone, Captain Shulky happens to be there eating some donuts, sitting in the giant donut like Tony did in Iron Man 2. So the expansion blows, and he manages to get the stone, and then tricks her into flying through the portal that he placed inside of the giant donut, which sends Captain Shulky to Kamala's family home, who promptly fangirls over her. Here is where our Captain Shulky decides to finally take it seriously, this threat. Because attacking her favorite donut shop has made this personal. Luckily, Captain Shulky remembers what her bestie, Smashy, said, and quickly departs Trump's house for Sakaar, where the final battle with Trump Thanos will happen. So I want to open the film with a whimsical narration explaining what the film is about, saying how this is a superhero that is everything bigots hate, and a fantasy come to life of a woman of a writer's obsession with hot green women and their big green boobs, with the bonus that she can fly. There can be a scene parodying the one from Captain Marvel where a biker asks her to smile, but after taking his clothes, and this we have the Captain Shulky shoots a photon blast at him, sending him flying in his underwear, and to add insult to injury, he lands on a billboard that has of somebody with a smile on it, and he's hanging off the side of it by his underwear, giving him a massive wedgie. And in the post-credit scene in the film, we would see Captain Shulky join the Council of Hot Green Women, which would have Gamora, Poison Ivy, some Orions from Star Trek, and then Cameron Diaz's character from The Mask, but she wears the mask instead of Jim Carrey, and then we can probably have some other green women in there as well. What do you think of this final pitch that I have?
I think a lot of the jokes really do work, and they do fit with like. If you told me this was in the same universe as superhero movie from 2008, that parody film, I would believe it, because it has a lot of the same.
Yeah, I wanted to recreate that feel of those early 2000s films.
Yeah, and also like there's some jokes in it that I do. Like the idea that the female superheroes accidentally give her powers, that's that because one of my favorite types of humor in general, whether it be in parody films or comedies, is when someone just gets someone gets hit by something. I was like, what the fuck is that? And they keep trying, and they keep getting hit over and over until something happens. And then there's a lot of the jokes are really funny, and there's a lot of stuff in it that will age well because of obviously because there'll always be asshole YouTubers, and also there's a lot of funny stuff in it, and I like the fact that you did keep a focus on Jen and Carol for the most part, just for the hybrid character.
It's kind of like I made it to be like the Infinity War or Endgame story, but if it was just about one superhero instead of all of these people.
Oh no, that's
I thought it was fun.
Oh no, with parody films, I do like it when they consolidate at least a main focus, which is a character. Like it was a superhero movie, the 2008 parody film by Craig Mason. I do like the fact that for the most part, it's just a fucking Spider-Man movie. Like it's a Spider-Man movie with a professor with the X-Men crossover that I like, and some other fun cameos and stuff. So you doing a version of that for Infinity War / She-Hulk is actually smart to talk about some issues in comic book fandom online.
Yeah, I think the one thing where like I'm not totally sure about is just the Trump Thanos thing, just because and mainly just because that is sign that's not going to age. That is
Well,
sign that is sign where like within a few years from now, Trump is most likely going to be dead. Let's be honest.
yeah. Well, I mean,
He's going to be a little bit out of the conversation anymore.
Well, with Trump, in a way, you can argue he's a lot like Nixon. In a way, an infamous Republican that will be referenced and made fun of for a long, long, long time. So, uh, I mean, if you want, you could rename him to reference something else if you want. But
like
I
I
mean,
mainly just like came up with him because I was like, I think it'd be funny to have a Trump-like character, but it's Donald Trump's face.
hmm,
But and also like I'm like Trump Thanos is not a good name. I don't know. I don't know what exactly I would name him, but I think I think I do have some really fun ideas with that.
I think you'd definitely pick something else. I mean, for now, it's a good working title for that character. So like, don't worry
Yeah.
about like you have time to think of
Oh
something
yeah.
else in the future.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think there's like a lot of different like fun things that you can reference now with a film like this that you obviously couldn't have back in 2008 when the when superhero movie came out and like so I think it definitely makes sense trying to do a new version of that and also just like I also though like I even though I like superhero movie a lot, I do feel like it's one of the more tame of the parody movies
Mhm.
because it's just PG-13.
I felt like that was like yes a compromise because there was like a lot of like weird stuff behind the scenes, so I wouldn't be shocked if it was gonna be rated R and they decided to cut it down for stuff.
Makes sense. It's all right. Well, that's all my pitches is for this. All right. I know you've already gone through your pitches. But are there any final things you'd just like to say before we end this off?
Um, it's a lot of fun talking about Hulk, and I'm so excited to see him in Brand New Day, and obviously for Avengers: Secret Wars, and the MCU has a lot of plans for Hulk after Secret Wars. I'm really excited for what's going to happen in the future. I mean, obviously Hulk will always be a popular character. I'm just excited that certain things are gonna go up. You know what I mean? Just in general, like She-Hulk will be coming back soon for Avengers. They haven't announced it yet, but like it's some stuff leaked. We already know she's gonna be in it, and I'm just happy that we can get more of the Hulk family in the future. And I like when I get to talk about Hulk with friends, and
Same.
I hope there's more fun Hulk conversations as we get to see more of him in films and as and also the comics are so doing some good stuff with him, and I wouldn't be shocked if we get a Hulk video game in the Insomniac universe one day soon after
That'd be
Wolverine.
fun.
So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I definitely like that. Well, it's kind of surprises me the lack of Hulk video games we've had in for a while. And like also the lack of Hulk animated shows. It's like we haven't had one since Hulk and Age of Smash.
Mhm. I think we'll get some fun I think they have ideas, they have plans. It's just the matter of when. But I hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining me for my 200 episode special.
Of course.
This was a lot of fun. And I hope everyone on listening enjoyed this 200 episode special, enjoyed all our pitches. This has been great. I'm glad I've been able to keep going with this podcast for 200 episodes.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Thank you. So that's really everything I have to say. So thank you everyone for listening. If you like this scale analysis, please get a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts to all of our pitches, so please let me know. And if you'd like to listen more from me, please subscribe. Maybe more or game analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Matt Stokes, John, signing off.